Happy New Year to you all. I hope 2001 is amazing, even better than last year. So a new base gravy. I'll put all the ingredients in the description of the video, but this is going to be made differently with a nice logical sense of cooking and not just Bangladeshi restaurant style cooking. So we've got a vast quantity of finely chopped onions there, 5 kilos, so quite a bit of prep. I can see why anybody wouldn't want to endeavour on such a journey. So because it's unblended, the onions are really finely sliced because they're going to be fried first to get the flavour. I've got about 250 grams of grated carrot, a green pepper grated and a red pepper grated, a good bunch of coriander, salt to taste, mix powder, link in the description, and finally some good whole garam masala. So we've got some star anise, some black cardamom, some green pepper, some cassia bark, some red chilies, some cinnamon leaves, and some green cardamom and some cumin. And last but not least, we have 1 cup of blanched and finely ground almonds, and that's going into a litre of vegetable ghee, Khyber brand. So our Khyber vegetable ghee, you can use vegetable oil if you want. That's the beauty of Indian food, or India-centric food, is it's adaptable. If you don't have an ingredient or you want to add something, no problem, it's so versatile. So we've got a generous amount of whole spices there. We're just going to sizzle those off, not for long because the slow cooking of the onions as well. So as those splutter away, we'll come back. The kitchen is very aromatic, whole garam masala. So loads and loads of handfuls of onions now. Add a couple of handfuls at a time, don't reduce the temperature of the oil, because getting your onions golden is where the flavour is going to be. And a lot of base gravies are very boiled, even though they do have some oil. So this is going to simplify cooking the actual curry. So I beg everybody to stay tuned to the channel, because there's going to be some recipes coming up using this amazing base gravy unblended. We'll come back once all those onions have been fried off, starting to brown, and we're ready to add more ingredients. So we're probably talking around 45 minutes to an hour. Final batch of onions gone in. I'm adding about 5 tablespoons of salt, so about a tablespoon per kilo, but salt is always to taste. And I do apologise, I've missed a 2.5 kilo tin of pomodoro or tomatoes, so they're going in later, so stay tuned. So this is about 50 minutes in. I've turned the temperature down so you can see it and it's not really steamy. Ginger and garlic paste now, that's going to be sizzled in, and this is a one-stop solution, so a handful of curry leaves, and I'm going to continue to fry that off, and the ginger and garlic will help a little bit more caramelization. Look at the nice brown colour emerging. So I've just cooked that ginger and garlic paste long enough so you can't smell the raw flavours off it. In with the cashew nut paste now. You get a nice nutty aroma when you fry it, so that's going in early. And the same again, that's going to have another 5 to 10 minutes stir, and you're going to get a nice creamy texture and amazing taste, and something a bit different from the gravy and the finished product. Anybody that's watched my Daag recipe, D-A-A-G, very similar, but that was blended, more Indian sort of base gravy. And you can see the name of the game at this stage is to make a paste, and the onions break down and disintegrate and you get this like pulp. That's what we're after. So if you're going to try this method, unblended base gravy, cut all your onions quite uniformed in size, but if you get a couple of big onions, not a problem. I mean, they're already pre-cooked onions in the finished curries that we're going to be making or using this base gravy, and stirring really helps with the disintegration as well. So I've been stirring and stirring, and it helps break down the onions. So we'll come back in a few minutes and we'll add some of the rest of the ingredients. So let's add the grated green pepper, the grated red pepper, and the grated carrot. I just love carrots in a base gravy. There's just something about it. So it's nice to grate everything because we're not going to blend it, and we want, again, just like the onions, we want those to break down as well. We're going to come back in perhaps 20 minutes. Just keep the camera rolling while we stir all those wonderful colours in. And we're going to come back and you'll see all those colours have been cooked out and become part of the sauce. Trying to blow some of that steam away so you can have a look. So the oil has split. Next, it's time to add some mix powder, and of course you can use any curry powder you want, your favourite curry powder, mix powder, doesn't matter that it's different to this. I'm going to use a good quantity of this. I'm going to use 150 gram of mix powder, and I can smell that already, so exciting. And I'm going to add the mix powder and stir it in. So it's nice and hot at this stage. When you add the tomatoes, the maximum temperature is going to be reduced. So just give that a stir and cook the rawness out of the mix powder. So we're going to come back in perhaps 10 minutes when that's had a good stir and the oil split once again, and that's smelling just like a restaurant. So that's been about 10 minutes and the oil has split. Next, I've got a humongous tin of tomatoes here. They're baby cherry tomatoes, 2.5 kilos. And we've got to cook the raw flavours out of that again. Starting to look very exciting. Let's add the coriander now. So that's all the ingredients added. There's nothing further to add, and I'm just going to reduce and cook this fruit really thoroughly. Just give it a good stir so you can get an idea of what we're going to come back to in the final stages of the video. Wow, that's looking absolutely gorgeous, nice and rustic. The only thing I'm going to take out before I put it into portion-sized tubs is this massive stick of cassia bark. That looks absolutely delightful, and already I just cannot wait to cook with this. It's just going to be so great, and we're going to add other things to make each curry unique. Wow, look at that. So yeah, we'll come back once those raw flavours have been cooked away. I'll give it an approximate time on return. So that's been about another 45 minutes. And all the oil is split, which indicates the ingredients aren't accepting any more moisture, hence they're cooked. We'll come back and have a look once that settles down. So here it is. Nice layer of oil on the top, and you can see some nice rustic tomatoes in there. If you don't like that type of thing, blend your tomatoes. If you don't have a massive tin of tomatoes, just use multiple small tins. But can you see that everything's nice and disintegrated? The smell is fantastic, and the pleasing look of the gravy makes it super exciting to cook with. So hope everybody has a great new year. Thanks for watching, and remember to stay tuned for some fantastic recipes coming up with this base gravy. Adios. So, final thoughts, all ready to cool down and go into the freezer. Final thoughts is that I added around 1.5 pints of water after I added the tomatoes, just to make everything blend up really nice. Obviously the little cherry tomatoes that I had in the can are optional, so you don't have to have prominent pieces of tomato in. But the final thoughts really, apart from wishing you all the best for 2001, is that this was so convenient to cook. No blending, no splashing all over the place, you know, with the stick blender. I'm doing it in batches, so that was a welcome change. And the great thing about it is I've taken the piece of cassia off, and every curry is going to be slightly unique. Obviously it's going to be cooked again in the forthcoming videos that I'm going to be making curries out of this, but everyone's going to be slightly different. Simple reason is that some will have a couple more cloves than others, some batches or little tubs will have more cardamoms and that type of thing. So yeah, it's less uniformed, a little bit more rustic. So thanks for watching, and I'm finally over and out. All the best for 2001. Let's hope it's a lot better in a lot of ways than it was last year.